The brilliant comedian Richard Pryor died on Saturday. He died of a heart attack after an almost 20-year battle with multiple sclerosis. He was 65. Richard Pryor was one of the most influential comedians ever, a cultural giant who changed comedy. Many of his colleagues called him a genius. He was born in 1940 in Peoria, Illinois. He lived to become the highest-paid black performer of his time. He distinguished himself with dramatic and comedic performances in film and television, but it was alone, on stage, where he excelled, entertaining and provoking like nobody else could. His approach to stand-up revolutionized the way later comics told jokes and expressed themselves. He spoke about race in a way that was both funny and insightful. He also had a long struggle with drug addiction and illness. Richard Pryor was the first recipient of the Kennedy Center Mark Twain Prize for Humor. He also earned an Emmy for writing and 5 Grammys for his comedy albums. Having such admiration for Pryor, I've frequently asked others about his contributions, and here are some of their responses.
But Richard Pryor was a genius truly because what he did was he was able to take all that humor that arose before and express it in his own way.
Let me say this. This country's produced 3 geniuses. Mark Twain, way out there, way out, head of everybody else. Lenny Bruce and Richard Pryor, geniuses.
Any comic work in America, whether they know it or not, was influenced by what he's done.
And what was it about him that made him so powerful and and influential?
He spoke
the genius?
He spoke the way that people speak. He took a very specific set of circumstances and conveyed them so that people who didn't even live those circumstances could understand what he was talking about. Because he had such a human element to his work.
Yeah.
He changed the way that comedians engage their audience, the way they pace the stage. He brought a lot of things to comedy. He's kind of like Coltrane for comedy, like the last innovator.
You told me a story that was amazing at the Comedy Club. Near the tail end, we were talking about all the people that had been a part of that sort of career that you saw in stand-up when you were doing stand-up and impressions and all of that. Richard Pryor backstage and saying to you,
I'm not sure that I'm funny right now, you know, I don't really feel funny. And, you know, there was a period where he went up on stage and he would say that to the audience as well, and the audience would try to support him. They would say, no, you are, we know you are. And it was a tough time he went through, you know, when he was getting sober and he was trying to figure out what he was about. And I think he had lost a lot of, you know, this is the thing. It's like, God, you better own it, you know? Whatever it is, you better own it.
Like I saw Richard Pryor a month ago. He came up and he wanted to go see not San Quentin, come back. He wanted to see Alcatraz. And we took him to the island. It was amazing.
You took Richard Pryor to Alcatraz.
Yeah, and he got him off too.
Yeah, but he just
he wanted to go see it, and it was amazing.
Did he call you and say, or just somebody said,
Robin, get me to the island. I want to go see it.
You know San Francisco. I know you do, brother.
Yeah. Take me to the island.
Anybody that knows, you know, follow Richard Pryor knows that he's immensely talented. And to watch what he has done in movies, it was really, I mean, it was good stuff. And then there might have been movies that, you know, you say, okay, that's cool. I enjoyed this one better or that. That happens with all of us. You enjoy some movies better than you do others. But the best of Pryor, I think, was why so many people love him, is that he gave it to us through stand-up. He was a one-man show that gave you the best of his comedy and to me the best of himself in his comedy, because I think that's the freest he could have felt on stage.
Said I want to know this person, I want to, you know, love to work with them. And this came about, the part was small enough that he could do it. He's in a wheelchair, and said he wanted to do it, and
he wanted to do it.
He wanted to do it.
He has MS, I think.
Right, and so we finished what we had to shoot, and then I got him in the office of Arnie's garage where his character works. He owns it, and set up a premise, and he ad-libbed for 9 minutes on the telephone, which was unbelievable, brilliant stuff.
Nobody's been as good and as funny as Richard Pryor.
And the thing about Richard Pryor, though, it was the edge. I mean, the satirical edge, in addition to the comedy.
Yeah, it was just the brutal honesty. It was just, I will say anything, and I don't care how you feel about it. I have nothing to hide. You know what I mean? He's the I have nothing to hide guy.
Finish this sentence for me. Richard Pryor is the best
comedian
stand-up in the world. He brought stand-up to another level. He brought stand-up to a level that no one thought would ever be reached. He brought stand-up to a level where years after he hit that plateau, his legacy has still been standing to this day. Richard Pryor, despite all the triumphs in his life, still found a place where humor can be placed. Richard Pryor, despite his awkward lifestyle, still taught us how to laugh at ourselves.
Richard Pryor, dead at 65. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.